What's going on, my fellow Belmonts? It's the Mad Belmont here, and today we're going to be talking about retro games, and specifically I'm going to give you 5 reasons, count them, 5 reasons why I prefer retro games over modern games. Now, I am not opposed to modern games specifically, okay? I do have some right here on this shelf and behind me right here, okay? But I also have some retro games here too, right? And I also have some up here, so I'm not opposed to modern video games. But I do prefer my retro games, and this list right here is basically me explaining why. Also, even though I do say I do have a certain order for this list, and even though I do bring up certain points before others, each and every single one of these 5 reasons are equal, okay? These are 5 equal reasons as to why I prefer retro to modern. And I challenge you to give me your reasons as to why you prefer retro to modern gaming down in the comments below. Let's have a discussion about this. But enough dilly-dallying already. Where's the list already, right? So let's get into it. Reason number 1 as to why I prefer retro over modern gaming is you get to jump straight into it. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, whenever you go to play a modern game, most of the time, there are some rare exceptions, mostly on the Nintendo side of things. But with most modern games out there, and you can try to deny this all you want to, but you know it's a fact. When you go and play a modern game, 9 times out of 10, you're getting a day 1 update. And also, depending on the type of game that you like to play, it can be just a tiny little update, or it could be this big, ginormous update that takes like half the freaking day to download. I'm looking at you, Call of Duty. Yeah, I'm looking at you. So, yeah, waiting for updates and day 1 patches and stuff like that to install, that's annoying, okay? When I sit down to play a game, especially after dealing with a hard day of housework and taking care of my family members and working here on the channel and stuff like that, I just want to sit down, I just want to play a game, I just want to boot it up, right? 9 times out of 10, if I want to play a game on my modern systems, I have to download them like a day or 2 in advance before I even think about playing the game, because again, you have to wait for it. Whereas back in the day, you just put the cartridge in, put the disc into the system, whatever, and it just like that, you're in. You are into the game right then and there. So yeah, I definitely miss that about gaming. I really do. I miss it. I miss it a lot. And that is reason number 1. Reason number 2 here is because the games are actually complete in the retro scene. Yes, another stab at modern games. Because let me tell you something, okay? The amount of games, especially in the type of genres that I like, which are, you know, these big old open world games, you know, I do like those from time to time, especially since I'm starting to get out of my burnout on them. First person shooters, RPGs, platformers. There are a lot of games that come out really well polished, okay? I'm not saying that there aren't any, but there are a lot of cases in especially the AAA side of things where development gets rushed a little bit because they got to meet a deadline, and voila, you've got a broken game at launch, which again leads to the first point where you got to download a day 1 patch to fix the broken mess, right? Because they could not wait any longer for the game to actually be in good shape for it to come out. I'm looking at you, Ubisoft, a lot of the time with your games, okay? So, yeah. That is another reason that just, it irks me so much, because I remember I was the part of the last generation of kids that grew up with the 5th, the 6th, the 7th generation of consoles, you know, the PS1, N64, PS2, GameCube, Xbox days, Dreamcast, and the 360 and the PS3, all 3 of those generations, you could just buy the game, go home, and play it. You didn't have to worry about fixing a broken mess at launch because it was not supposed to be broken at launch. So, yeah, that's just another old man rant, I guess you could say. Even though I'm probably younger than a lot of people in the retro scene, but it doesn't matter. Reason number 3 here, the games are shorter, which makes them a little bit more palatable to busy bees like myself. Look, I love me a good game that can take me hour upon hour upon hour to play and to beat. I do like long games in doses, okay? In little tiny doses, okay? Now, a lot of the time, I am a very busy man. Ask anybody that knows me. I'm constantly doing something, okay? I cannot sit still. But one thing that I can do is I can play these shorter games that are from the retro days, especially in the NES days when games were made to, unless they're an RPG, which I guess I'm cursed for loving that genre because there's no way around it that I'm going to be playing those games for hours and hours and hours. But my other favorite types of games, like the shmups, the beat 'em ups, the action platformers like this series right here, Castlevania. You've got the Contra series with the run and gun genre. All those types of games, I can beat those in no time. Like anywhere from 1 to 8 hours, depending on the console generation that I decide to go with. Literally that long. And it is very palatable. I can finish those in anywhere from a day to a week, depending on the type of game that I'm playing and what generation of consoles I decide to play it on, right? So that's why I love retro games, is because they were forced to be made shorter back then, which made them ramp up the difficulty to pad the playtime out. But now that I'm older and I feel more skilled as a gamer, I can easily get through a lot of these games in anywhere from a day to about 4, give or take, right? So very, very palatable for someone who's busy like myself. Reason number 4 here is I feel like retro gaming has more games that are suited to me and to my play style than a lot of modern games out there. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of retro games out there that just get me right into the action, that just get me, you know, going. Not too much tutorial time, not too much downtime due to cutscenes and things like that. Even in RPGs back then, they did not waste a lot of your time in the beginning hours of the game. Now, they did with cutscenes, I will give you that, but when it got to the gameplay, they let you get to the game, right? And especially if you played action games like action platformers, run and gun, shmups, you're there. You're right in there and you're just going. As opposed to with modern games, they might waste your time with a cutscene. Then they'll waste your time with like 4 to 5 tutorial messages, right? And you're just like, I just want to play game. No, you cannot do that with a lot of modern games. They gotta sit there and they gotta just hold your hand, right? They gotta just let you, they won't let you go without, getting a sense of your bearings and stuff like that. No, just let me go. I'll figure it out. Okay? And that's what a lot of modern games don't do. They don't let me just go and figure stuff out. Retro games, they definitely do. Okay? And I like that because I feel like I'm getting better as a player because I want to get better as a player, because I want to learn the game, not because the game's making me learn it. Okay? Reason number 5, the games are made with so much more passion, so much more love, so much more care than a lot of modern games are. And it's mostly because of the crunch culture that has kind of infected modern gaming, I feel, because games have to hit deadlines. A lot of devs do not want to put the time and the effort into making their games the best they can be. Now, of course, I know that there's exceptions to the rule. There always is, right? You have Naughty Dog, even though a lot of people do not agree with some of their more recent stuff, and I don't either, but you can't help but say that their games are well polished and come out complete a lot of the time, right? And also you've got Insomniac, you've got Guerrilla Games, you've got Capcom, who has made a recovery on that front, you've got From Software. There's a lot of good developers out there, and don't even get me started on how good the indie scene is with their games. Okay, the indie scene and their games are putting a lot of AAA developers to shame with how quality their games are and how polished they are coming out. But that's another rant for another day. Anyway, so yeah, I feel like a lot of love and care and passion was put into the retro games, especially on the AAA level for that time period, because there were just a lot of people that were making games with a lot of passion, like Nintendo, who still has that passion today. You can see it in their games, right? And so yeah, that's got to be the penultimate reason right here, is because I feel like a lot of retro games were made with a lot more care and passion than modern games. So those are my reasons why I prefer retro gaming over modern gaming. But what are your reasons? Let me know down in the comments below, like I said earlier. Also, while you're here, if you made it here, first of all, thank you. And second of all, if you did make it here, you might want to go hit that like button down below. It really helps me out, okay? And while you're down there, you might as well just check out the rest of my Super Retro Force comrades, because they all deserve all the support that they can get. They're all talented and amazing people, okay? And also, have fun on the hunt, my fellow Belmonts. I'll see you in the next video, and peace out.
Super Retro Force.